I have a ComfortNet thermostat wired as C, R, 1 and 2 and I'm trying to replace this with a Nest thermostat. How do I rewire the thermostat panel in my furnace so that I can use the Nest?
Hello, I am a retired mechanical engineer with 56 years in this business. I will go in depth with you, and up to a 6-hour time limit. All I ask is please select the rating link at the top of your page before leaving. That is the only way I am credited through the site. Rating does not affect your charges nor ability to refund if not satisfied. If you can agree to that, let's continue by all means. NS. Your ComfortNet thermostat is a very advanced thermostat that both sends and receives signals from the equipment to deliver advanced energy saving and humidity control features. The Nest is a one-way thermostat, it just closes and opens switches to control the furnace and AC system. It is possible, however, to connect to the thermostat terminal strip that is non-communicating. It gets complex and you lose some of the finer features that your system has now. When you have all that you need, please select the Finish and Rate Your Expert link near the top of your page to close the question. I will appreciate it. It's late, I am off to bed and will pick up your response first thing in the AM.
Thank you, Phil.
When you have all that you need, please select the Finish and Rate Your Expert link near the top of your page to close the question. I will appreciate it. It is the only way the company pays me for my time and expenses.
Okay, I will rate as soon as we finish the chat. How do I rewire my thermostat and furnace to work with the Nest thermostat?
Hi, I'm Brian and I can help with this. Sorry you haven't received help yet. Whether you can change your system from the communicating method of wiring to the legacy method of wiring, which is how the Nest controls, depends on how many stages of heating and cooling you have, whether your system is a heat pump or not, and most importantly, how many conductors, wires, are in the thermostat cable between the thermostat location and the furnace location, and also between the furnace location and the outdoor unit location. If you can give me this info: 1. How many wires in each cable is noted above. 2. Model numbers of both your indoor and outdoor units. 3. Whether you are comfortable opening both your furnace and your outdoor unit and making wiring changes. I can tell you whether it's possible and how to change the wiring if it is possible. Thanks, Brian.
Hi Brian, yes, I can provide you with the info requested except for the model numbers at this time. And I'm very comfortable accessing the service panels. I have attached some pictures for you to look over. Thank you.
That last picture would be great if I could see more of the thermostat cables at the bottom and if it was much clearer. That picture can help us through this a lot. It looks to me like you may have 5 conductor thermostat cable to the thermostat location and 4 or 5 conductor going outside. If your system is a 2-stage cooling unit, we may run into problems, but we can try it. The problem could arise because we wouldn't have enough conductors to have a 24-volt common in that scenario, and the Nest may or may not like that. If your system is single-stage heating/cooling, then you are golden. That's why I needed the model numbers. It also tells me how to tell you how to wire the system right. It would just be an educated guess without knowing the model numbers. Pictures of the outdoor low-voltage wiring connections and terminal blocks, unused factory low-voltage wires, etc. would be really helpful too.
I have attached a clearer picture. How long can the chat stay open? I can get you the model numbers and peek inside the outside unit later today. I really appreciate your help with this. I just bought the house and want to set up the Nest.
Thanks for the picture, that's way better. The chat can remain open for as long as you need, so no worries there. I'll be around later, so no worries there either. Depending on the time of day, I may be on dinner break or assisting other customers, so please pardon a slow response. Smile. Thanks, Brian. If that 7-conductor thermostat cable goes all the way to your thermostat location, I can tell you there will be no problem wiring the Nest, so that's good news.
How would I change between stage 1 and 2 cooling?
Even better, D.
Unfortunately, no. The thermostat location only has 4 conductors. The outside unit has the 7-conductor cable. The good news is, I can pull new cable to the thermostat location.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. 4-conductor might do a single-stage heating, single-stage cooling system, and I stress might. The Nest wouldn't get its common, and that tends to make them pretty sketchy with Wi-Fi. I would run a new 8-conductor between furnace and thermostat location. 4 should be fine between furnace and outdoor unit, unless by chance this is a dual fuel heat pump system, then 8-conductor between the furnace and both thermostat and outdoor unit locations would be required.
Okay, I will check model numbers later and send that info over to you.
That will be all I need, and of course a wiring change, or 2. Smile. I'll be on the lookout for your next post later. Thanks, Brian.
Okay, Brian, I got the info you requested. Model numbers #Goodman CHPF 4860D6DB Goodman Ask 160481BC, and I have also attached more pics.
Okay, thanks. Let me review all that and I'll be back shortly. Okay, thanks for all that. The model number you gave me for the furnace is actually just the cooling coil. I will need the model number for the furnace to make the change to legacy, since there may be dip switch or jumpers we need to change. I'm going to mock up one of your pictures to show something now, then I'll also create a wiring scheme to show you how to connect things. This will take a while, so please be patient. Thanks, Brian.
Here's another one #81005CN. Hopefully that's it.
Okay, click here to view one of your pictures I have annotated. You will see that the wiring terminal block needs some work on the outdoor unit by my picture and instructions. You also need to find the missing terminal block inside your furnace, since the terminal pins that are bare with no screw terminal block are where the legacy thermostat wiring gets connected, so you've got to find that terminal block inside your furnace. Hopefully it's not lost, since that will stop you dead in the water. Let me know you found the missing screw terminal block. Those screw terminal blocks will snap onto the pin base. Thanks, that's the furnace model number I needed. I'll go fetch the manual for it. Can I assume this is a Nest Gen 4 thermostat you want to wire?
It's a 3rd generation.
Okay, thanks for that. Were you able to find the screw terminal connector for the furnace? Also, it appears to me there may be more than one externally field installed safety switch wired into your unit. I see the one float switch wire, but it looks like there are a couple more thermostat cables with just red and white wired, and I can't see what they are for. Can you follow those out and tell me what you find, please?
The long screw terminal is in the furnace, tucked behind the wiring. I will take more pics of the wiring. 1 second.
Okay, great. That could have put a hex on the whole doggone thing. Sorry it's taking so long, this is a bit of a complicated scheme and retrofit. I want to make sure we get it right the first time. Thanks for your patience. Not a problem, you have been great.
It appears that there are 2 kill switches spliced into the red wire. I'm assuming they're in place to shut the furnace off in case the pan or pipe fill up with water.
Okay, thanks. I have your wiring scheme, but let me study the extra safeties, and I'll be back soon.
Thank you, Brian.
You're very welcome. Okay, I'm going to mock up that one of those last pics to give better instructions. Then I'll send the wiring scheme shortly.
Great.
Okay, click here for a link to another annotated picture that will help clear things up.
Okay, so I have to wire up the long screw block with every single color except for the number 1 and 2 at the furnace and the outside unit.
No, is the short answer. I just finished the instructions and they'll be along momentarily in my next post.
Oh, sorry. Getting ahead of myself.
Turn power off to furnace. Unwire all existing low voltage field wires, including the ones going to the float switch but not the 2 that are wire nutted one from one float switch to the other. Once you do that, this is how you will wire things. When wiring 2 wires into one terminal slot at the furnace, make sure the connection in the slot is solid and tight. Tug on each wire individually after you tighten that screw terminal just to make sure each wire is solidly connected in it. At Nest thermostat, red to RH, orange to Y1, yellow to Y2, green to G, white to W1, black to W2, blue to C at the AC unit outdoors, red to R, blue to C, orange to Y1, yellow to Y2 at the furnace, red from thermostat and outdoor unit to furnace, or blue from thermostat to furnace, C, blue from outdoor unit to one wire of the water float switch, connect with wire nut, second wire of float switch to furnace, C, along with blue from thermostat, twist the stranded, stripped float switch wire tightly before inserting into connector with blue wire from thermostat, orange from thermostat and outdoor unit to furnace Y1. Also wire a little jumper from Y1 to O on the furnace control board. You may have to wire nut the 2 orange wires together with 2 short pigtail wires to go from the wire nutted group to both Y1 and O on the board, since otherwise there would be 3 wires that would need to go to Y1. Otherwise you may not get a good connection of all the wires at Y1. Note, there is no connection at O at the outdoor unit or thermostat, just at the furnace. Ask me if this is not clear. Yellow from thermostat and outdoor unit to furnace Y2, white from thermostat to furnace W1, black from thermostat to furnace W2, that will complete the wiring. Before you turn the power on to the furnace, there are some dip switch settings that have to be changed on the furnace control board. I'll be back soon with those settings. If anything is unclear, please ask. The next post will contain any dip switch or tiny plastic jumpers on the furnace control board that may need to be changed. This may take a while since I've got to comb through the manual. Pardon me for the slow speed, it's been quite a while since I did one of these conversions on this particular Goodman system and furnace, so I'm a little rusty at it.
No rush. Take your time.
Okay. You have a lot of dip switches in a few different banks on the furnace control board, and these are all overridden and set in software when you have a communicating system. Now that you will be in legacy mode, we have to ensure they're all set right by hardware switches. I think the easiest way for us to do this is for you to take a picture of the dip switches so I can see what position they are all in, and then I'll have you make any changes necessary. It's important that I can see the position of the switches in your pictures. Also, I know this has taken a long time, and if you'd like to table this at any time and pick it back up tomorrow, that's fine with me. I do plan on working tomorrow. I usually work till about midnight EDT, so I've got time left tonight, but if you want to finish later, I understand. I know it's dark out too, and that's no fun either. It's up to you, let me know. Thanks, Brian.
I will take pictures of the furnace circuit board. I will pull a new wire to the thermostat in the meantime. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Is it more or less complicated than you thought? Smile, not a job for the faint of heart, huh? Not to add any more confusion into the fray, but there is also an option with the Nest thermostat and that furnace and AC unit combo I hadn't thought about until just moments ago. You have a variable speed blower, a 2-stage AC unit and a thermostat in the Nest that has the ability to not only sense indoor humidity but also act on with control strategy if the humidity goes high. If you live in an area of the country where you deal with high humidity, there is another control option with some dip switches on the furnace and extra wire at the Nest, if you have it, which I think you will if you run 8-conductor wire, and a couple selections in Nest setup. This can help control your indoor humidity based on the actual reading in your home. Let me know about that.
I only have 7-conductor wire that I can run to the thermostat. Here are some pics of the dip switches.
Thanks for the pictures. I'll review then come up with changes needed. Some of the dip switches will be optional settings for airflow ramping up/down profiles for cooling. These tend to affect comfort level and indoor humidity. Again, where in the nation you are is paramount to these settings. They would be different for a low humidity summer like in the desert as compared to the southeast with stifling humidity. Also, how well your home is insulated. It's something that you can always futz with if you understand it and choose to try things out. The humidity option on your thermostat would still be available if you combine the 2 stages of gas heat into a single electrical stage and let the furnace use its internal staging algorithm to stage the heating. If you did it that way, you could free up a wire for use for humidity control and cooling. It would be a give or take thing that would depend on your preference and local climate. Totally up to you. Just ask if you'd like more explanation or let me know which way you prefer to go if you don't need explanation. Be back shortly with the required dip switch changes.
My home is pretty well insulated. I live in Texas, so it gets pretty hot around here. I just want to be able to get my home cool or warm depending on the outside weather. I don't know anything about humidity stages or anything like that.
Okay, I'll take that into consideration and give you what I think is best for your application and location. I did the majority of my career in HVAC in Florida and similar climates, so I think I can set you up pretty good.
Thank you very much.
Wow, that's just sad how long that took me. Okay, these switches are the ones you need to change from their current position to the opposite position they're in. S14, S33, S34, S42, S44, S52, S54, all the rest of them remain in their current position. That should be it for those. Now after you get all the wiring done everywhere and the dip switch is set, you can install the face of the Nest thermostat, then turn on power to the furnace and AC unit. The Nest should power up and it's going to ask you to confirm some things. It should recognize where all of your wires are, and my guess is you will just confirm everything it asks you because it should see that you have a 2-stage heating, 2-stage cooling system and it's not a heat pump. It may ask if your heating is fossil fuel or electric, and that may be it. If it asks if the fan should be called for heat, select no, but it should do that automatically if it asks you if you have gas/oil or electric heat and your selection is gas/oil. It's hard to remember all this stuff by heart. If you have any questions about the questions it asks, please don't hesitate to ask me. If the system operates in a way that's unexpected or wrong, let me know and I'll help figure it out. I'm pretty sure I covered every base though, but I'm not perfect. Let me know how it all goes. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Do I need to rate you now?
You can rate now, or if you wish, you can wait until you are sure things are working okay. Either way, I will be available as follow-up as free for this issue until you are satisfied whether you rate me now or later. It's your choice. In other words, rating doesn't close the question, and I always follow up whether I've been rated or not. So if you chose, I'll send my signature line now, but again, it's your choice when to rate. Let me know if you have further questions on this subject. Otherwise, please remember to rate before leaving, 3 stars or higher please. Bonuses are always appreciated. And remember, follow-up questions about this topic are free even after rating. Just post a new reply on this same question and I'll be notified. Thanks for allowing me to help, and thanks for using JustAnswer. Thank you, Brian. Good morning. I'm just checking in to see how your Nest install and legacy retrofit is going. When did we hit pay dirt? Do you have any other questions or issues? Thanks and happy Father's Day, Brian.
Hi, Brian. I had to come to a stop because I was unable to run a new line to the thermostat. I will have to do a little more construction work to get a line in there. But I will wire everything up as soon as I can. Thank you for your professionalism, and I will reach out to you if something goes haywire. Thanks again, and happy Father's Day.
You're very welcome. I'll keep an eye out for any new posts from you. Thanks much, Brian.
Hello, Brian. I finally got around to setting up the Nest thermostat. Everything seems to be working just fine. The only 2 questions I have are, my Nest is showing cooling stage 2, what exactly does that mean? And, on the wiring schematic you said green to G on the thermostat, but didn't say if it needed to be connected anywhere else. So I'm assuming that G is just sitting idle.
Whoops, I missed the other end of green at the furnace. Sorry about that, my brain was getting a little squirrely by that time. There should be another entry in at the furnace, green to G. Green, G gets the furnace fan running in the fan on mode of the fan switch on the thermostat, as opposed to fan auto when the fan cycles with the cooling automatically. It should be connected at G on the Nest and G on the furnace terminal strip. Cooling stage 2 means you are running the cooling in high cool or its maximum capacity. If on cool stage 1 it is in low cool or a lower, limited cooling capacity for less cooling load / greater efficiency. Does the airflow seem like it's delivering correctly? I was starting to see blurry dip switches everywhere in my waking sleep state. LOL, in other words, are things ramping up and ramping down nicely and running with good velocity during a normal run cycle? Brian.
Lol, I was wondering why the G was just sitting there. How would I change between stage 1 and 2 cooling? It seems to be cooling, just taking a long time to get down to the temp I like.
The Nest will compare the current room temperature to the current set point and the amount of difference between them. It will bring on high cool if there is a large difference between them and drop to low cool when the room temperature is more closely approaching the set point. I can't remember if this is adjustable at all in the Nest. Most thermostats are not, but some of the higher end ones are. The idea with a 2-stage cooling system is the low stage cool will operate most of the time and the high cool stage will operate occasionally when the thermostat sees low stage not keeping up. This give a tremendous boost in efficiency and energy savings. I'll have to look and see if the Nest internal settings can be changed for the throttling range of cooling stages. It obviously works a bit differently that your Goodman, Amana, control unit did. Click here for a Nest article that explains the Nest interstage behavior on multi-stage cooling/heating systems. I'm having trouble getting into my Nest account, so I can't review the pro stuff right now, but if I find something new to report, I'll post it here. Brian.
Thanks for your help, Brian.
You're very welcome. I'm glad we got things running for you. If the two-stage system doesn't work well for you, there are options, so don't despair. I would suggest seeing how the Nest learns your home and preferences for a while before making any drastic changes. It's a pretty smart thermostat. B.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.